All right, on this video, I'm going to talk about a bunch of stuff that's just based off of the graphs, and I'm going to use these three graphs to kind of explain what I'm looking at. So we're going to look at where the function is greater than 0. We're going to look at where the function equals 0, which would be the x-intercepts. We're going to look at where the function is less than 0. So for this one, it's above the x-axis. So that's everything up here. Where is the function up here? For this one, it's where it hits the x-axis. So on the x-axis, points that we have on the x-axis. This one is where it's less than the x-axis. So it's everything below the line. Where does the graph actually go below the x-axis? Then we're going to look at the maximum value. Your maximum value comes from your range. This is the top of your range, which means that it's essentially a y value. This is your top range. We're going to look at the minimum value, and that's the bottom of your range. And remember, when we're talking about range, we're talking about our y's. And then we're going to look at the maximum, where the maximum value occurs. And that's going to be the y value at this. Or sorry, the x value at this. So that's going to be an x. And then we're going to do the same thing. The minimum value occurs. That's going to be the x, or the input, at the bottom of your range. We're going to look for where the function is concave down, which means it's looking like this. We're going to look for where the function is concave up, which means it's looking like this. We're going to look for the points of inflection. Which is where it switches from being concave up to concave down, or the other way around. We're going to look for where the function is increasing. And we're going to look for where the function decreases. So I'm going to give these letters so that you know which one I'm doing when I'm doing them, without rewriting it all. Okay, so that's what I have. Okay, so on this first graph here, what is my maximum value? Well, that's a y. That's the top of my range. And if I look at this, the range is going to go to infinity. So my maximum value is going to be infinity. All right. The second one is my minimum value. Again, it's going off to negative infinity, so that's going to be negative infinity. Where does my maximum value occur? What's the x when y reaches infinity? Well, because it's going this direction, it's also infinity. Where my minimum value occurs, what's the x when the y reaches negative infinity? And again, it's going to be the same, so negative infinity. Where is it concave up? So if you look at it, it's going up from here all the way to here, which is infinity. So it's going to start right here at -1. That's not going to be included. To infinity, that's not going to be included. At -1, it's actually 0 for 1 second. So that's not included. Okay, what else happens? Or it's also concave up from here, from -1 to here, which looks like 2, 3, 4, 5, -5. So I'm going to go from -5 to -1 as well. That's where it's concave up. Concave down. Oops. Concave down is going to go from negative infinity all the way to right here, which is -3. or from -3 all the way to 0. So I have those two different intervals. Points of inflection. Points of inflection are where it changes directions. That will always be halfway in between these two guys. So those are my points of inflection. So the point of inflection, this first one is -1, 2, 3, 4, -2. The second one is -2, -2. The third one is -1/2, -2. Actually, it looks like -3/2. I'll make them easier for y'all to understand, to see. And this one looks like about 1.5 or 3/2, -3/2. So that's where we're looking at those. Where does the function increase? So right here, even though it's pointing to negative, it's going up, meaning that the graph is getting larger. It's going up on the y. Right here it's going up on the y, and right here it's going up on the y. So I would go from -infinity to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -5, and -3 to -1, and 0 to infinity. Where is it going down? Is going to be the rest of it. So from here to here it's going down, from here to here it's going down. So I'd be at -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -5 to -3. And -1 to 0. And that's how we're doing each of these.